Bismillah. How do we fix sleep, or how do we do better with sleep? This is the topic of today. Now, I've looked into this a lot, and I connected to some of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran. So let us look at it from an Islamic perspective. Okay, so let's explore the profound relationship between light and our body's natural rhythms. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also has given us, has created light, has created us, but there's an interaction between the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah has made subservient to us everything in this world. The sun, the moon, everything benefits us. The animals, the trees, the water cycle, everything is for human beings to function as well as they can. This is very important to understand. So let us look on how it's reflected in both science and the teachings of Islam and connect it to, because we're living in this world and we need to understand, well, how do we learn? What is science? I mean, science is an understanding of life and life around us. But as Muslims, already the foundations have been put on the Quran and Sunnah. So let's look at light and what is it from a Quranic perspective. How important is light? What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Nur in verse 35, that Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. So in general, light has a positive connotation. The absence of light could be good, could be bad. It depends. Light is essential for life, as literal or allegorical. Literal as in we need light to survive. If not, there's no photosynthesis. There is no energy creation. There's no, or energy, whatever. And there's no life, basically. But also allegorically, light is the guidance. It helps you. You can see where you're going. On the Day of Judgment, we're going to cross the Sirat with light. The lights that illuminate during the night. All these are very important. But Allah is the light of the heavens. He is the guidance. He is the truth. He is the one who created us. So this verse not only signifies the divine guidance, but also hints at the essential role of lights in our lives. You have to understand, sometimes we don't think that way. Okay? Now let's look at just light in general and sleep. So modern science tells us that exposure to natural light, especially in the morning, helps regulate our body's internal clock. It's known as the circadian rhythm. So this rhythm basically controls the production of melatonin. It's a hormone that makes us feel sleepy. In the absence of light, melatonin levels rise. It signals our body basically that it's time to sleep. You get tired, you know what I mean? Now think about this. Look how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us. Can you imagine? There's an actual internal clock in your body that basically tells you when to sleep and when not to. And that is regulated based on what? Based on the alternation of the night and day. Inna fi khalqi samawati wal ardi wa ikhtilafi al-layli wan nahar. The ikhtilaf of layl and nahar, the changes of night and day. In these there are signs. Do you see how important it is? Do you understand? This is a miracle. Like when I look at him, I get goosebumps because أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ. Does he not know he creates? Allah is the one. وَمَا قَدَرَ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِ وَمَا قَدَرَ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِ. They did not give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala his proper due. He is the creator. We don't think. Allah is simple things. Sometimes we read the Quran, we don't understand. We don't pause, we don't ponder. So Allah has created this internal, amazing clock in our bodies. Okay? This is called the circadian rhythm. It's an internal clock. It's amazing. I mean, if you look at how this is a sign for everyone. So, are you with me? How many times does Allah mention light in the Quran in different aspects? For example, وَالضُّحَى. Do you know al-duha is the light? It's gone a little bit past just the initial raises. Now, you know, light has different spectrum and different types of light. There's UV lights, there's red, there's blue, there's so many different lights. And depending on where the sun is, it will emit these lights differently. When it's at the duha, when it's low, but not too low, not sunrise, but low, actually science reveals that in studies that have been, they're peer review journals that show that it's important to get exposure at that time. No sunglasses, and that's where most of the exposure will go to. The photons will enter through your eyes. This is the entrance towards your brain. A lot of people put sunglasses on all the time. Now, when the sun is very painful and it hurts your eyes, then it means it's not good. You need to put sunglasses on. But in that time, the sun is literally, according to what the Prophet said, it's like an arrow from the horizon. So the sun is risen. It's not down. It's risen, at least relatively speaking, an arrow from where you stand, which is obviously at least, like you would think, like about 15 to maybe 20 degrees from the horizon. You understand? That light is good for you. It actually gives you life. It wakes you up. It triggers certain chemicals and balances within your brain and your body to signal you and tell that internal clock that it's time for you to work and do stuff. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says? وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا وَجَعَلْنَا النَّهَارَ مَعَاشًا. And He has made the night as a cover, sleep. وَنَوْمَكُمْ سُبَاتًا. Okay, that your sleep is something very important for you. Very important. We'll talk, that's what we're talking about. And the day is for ma'asha. You're working, you're seeking provision, you're living. So imagine, Allah swears by that time, وَالضُّحَى. And Allah talks about the shuruq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the ghurub as well, about sunset, about sunrise, about these times. It talks about even the prayers are based on the position of the sun during the day. Look at how many times, how many verses I already given you where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the importance of light in your life. It's prayers are based on that. Your life is based on that. Your sleepiness and your wakefulness is based on that. Let's continue with another interesting key player in this brain, which is called adenosine. So adenosine is basically another key player, a chemical that builds up in your brain during waking hours. So let's say if I didn't sleep too much, but I'm awake, it builds in because I'm gonna have this need or pressure. It's a sleep pressure. Like I feel like I need to sleep now. So adenosine builds up during the day when you're awake, and it's gonna create this need to sleep. The more you stay asleep, the adenosine level basically they increase, and they lead to this strong desire. Okay, do you understand? Now that's a very important chemical because that's also something that is it's interesting. Now melatonin reacts with darkness. Okay, the darker things is, the more melatonin will increase. So when the night kicks in, everything's dark, you feel more sleepy. With adenosine, kind of makes you feel up. Okay, the lights help, and you feel more increase. Now here I want to pause for the coffee lovers. Okay, I love coffee, but I'll drink it in the morning. I don't advise you to drink past 11 or 12 o'clock. Okay, I do not advise you to do that. Why? Well, because the caffeine, what it does is interesting. It basically blocks the adenosine receptor. It competes for it. So when coffee is in your system, caffeine, it will block. So the receptor comes here. This is the receptor, and this is coffee, and it will block. So then adenosine cannot come in, and so it competes for it, but actually it overtakes it. You understand? So for those who drink coffee in the morning, it's good for you. Don't put sugar, don't put milk. I believe straight organic coffee is the best. It makes you feel more awake. You need that boost in the morning sometimes. Okay? So use that towards your advantage. But personally, I would advise you not to go past 12. Why? Because indeed those blockers are going to stay there. Now, remember, you need adenosine to start building up so you have that sleep pressure. You need to sleep. When that's not there, adenosine is not there, guess what? You're not going to be sleepy. You're going to be up. And then you mess up the circadian rhythm or that clock. You understand? So if you drink coffee before 11 a.m., before 12, maximum by 12 midday, you should stop. Why? So that the caffeine unblocks and allows for adenosine to bind. Okay, very important. I love coffee. Okay, so all right, we have a beautiful super chat here, And that's amazing, Brother Christian. Barakallahu feek. And again, for those who want to continue, please support us. I'm going to continue with this and then I'll get to the questions, inshallah, if it's okay. Right. So, now when we look at the Islamic practices of sleep, the Prophet ﷺ, he clearly emphasized waking up early and taking advantage of the morning. He said, "Oh Allah, bless my nation in the early mornings. Allahumma barik li ummati fi bukuriha." This is narrated by Ibn Majah. So of course this tradition perfectly aligns, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who created us, right, with the benefits of morning light for our circadian rhythm and overall health. Okay, actually the recommendation is, and write it down, as soon as you wake up, try to be exposed to light within the first 15 minutes. Now, if you wake up early for tahajjud and it's still dark outside, a natural light or light source, even they have these natural lights that you can buy, or they imitate natural light, but they're on that wavelength, can help you. If it's too dark in the house, it will keep you tired. So what I would advise is, whenever you wake up, get exposed to some light right away, and a lot of light. Then drink some coffee. Well, first hydrate with water, then drink coffee. That will help you to get up. Okay, you wake up at 4, 5, whatever, and then you're feeling tired. You need to do work. You need to pray tahajjud. You need to work up. Actually, some of the ulama used to drink coffee to worship Allah better at night, in the early nights, and a third part of the night, which is waking up really early, 4 a.m., 3 a.m., before Fajr, and basically stay up. So the barakah is in the morning. First of all, the Prophet ﷺ made dua for that. So there's barakah, you'll be able to achieve much, much more. But a lot of times we just look from that perspective of productivity, but also for the perspective of health and mental health. Because when you are able to achieve stuff in the morning, when you feel rejuvenated or rested, when you feel strong in the morning, you feel good about yourself, energized, then you will achieve a lot more. Not just that, the adenosine is going to build in, and you're going to be able to sleep much better at night. That pressure of sleep is going to build in. The dopamine boost from your achievements in the morning, and the light also reacts and increases dopamine. That energetic feeling is dopamine. But it will actually affect the way you sleep at night. Because now you've exerted all that energy, healthy way, and now it's building through, and as you're reaching towards the night, now melatonin kicks in when it starts getting dark, your circadian rhythm is working perfectly, and now your body's saying, it's time for me to sleep. There's a hunger for sleep. There's no more like, I can't think, I'm overthinking. No, you're gonna sleep. The key is in resetting the system. You just have to start doing it. How do you do it? You start by the morning. You make sure you wake up, even if you're tired, even if you don't feel like doing it. Put your work in the morning. Put that balance, that program, that schedule in the morning, so you can stay up in the morning. Take the barakah of the dua of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then slowly your clock will reset, because your morning dopamine boost, you're aligning, you're doing a lot of things, you're having victory spiritually, physically, intellectually, whatever you're seeking knowledge, doing things during the day. Then you're closing up at the night. وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا. Now the night comes in, and that pressure of sleep from the adenosine will come in, and that adenosine will bind to that receptor, and you will feel sleepy, and now you're ready to go to sleep. High levels of melatonin, and boom, you're good to go. All right? So get light in the morning. Open the light if it's dark outside. If you can go outside once the sun has risen, go and spend 10-15 minutes for a walk outside. Perfect. Okay, even have your coffee outside. Even if it's dark, meaning there's clouds, it's still, studies show that still light will penetrate, will affect you. Do not put sunglasses on at that time. Let light penetrate. I'm not talking about when the sun is rising and the rays are hurting you. I'm talking about when the sun is at the duha. It's about 20 degrees up. Literally, it's usually like 45 minutes, like not even 45 minutes, about 20 minutes after sunrise. That's when it's actually permissible to pray the shuruq or duha prayer, which is a sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Right? You can see that he was up at that time doing that. Okay, there were no walls in the masjid. They were outside. It was just maybe a cover, but then they'll be outside in the day. Get that light early in the morning. It will react with the chemicals in your brain and make you feel much more energetic. The same way, when the sun is setting, even then it's good to have that exposure and be outside for a little bit, okay? Right? Remember, the key point is, if the light is bothering you, then it's not good. It's not the right time. The light is easy to kind of look at and you feel okay, you don't need to cover your eyes or this and that, then it's good for you. All right? Now, the balance of light and darkness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the night for rest, as we said, the day for work. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Furqan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that He is who has made the night for you as a clothing. Surah 25, verse 47. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the night for you to rest. Now, a lot of people work, sadly, they work at night, and this is not good, okay? This is sadly not good. And there's also some studies that show that that type of light that is emitted at night can work against your sleep and disturbing the circadian rhythm, okay? So be very, very careful. So Allah says, it is He has made the night for you as clothing and as sleep and a means for rest, and He has made the day a resurrection. You're resurrected, literally, okay? You're resurrected. These verses highlight the divine wisdom, honestly, in created a night for rest and recovery, because your brain cells recover during the night when you sleep. It's like almost like a cleaning the brain. It's like a cleaning for the brain, a restructuring of the brain, of the neural connections. All right? And it's critical for our well-being. Now, so please take care of those very small things. Let's review them, okay? Let's review them. What is it? If you wake up, get some light exposure, even if it's not light outside yet. Get some light exposure in your house. If you can, once the sun has risen about 20 degrees, about 20, 30 minutes after sunrise, go outside and get some light. Let it penetrate through the eyes. If you can, make sure you hydrate, but then make sure you drink coffee. A cup of coffee in the morning can help you a lot. I advise for people who drink water to please hydrate with some electrolytes. Sometimes the water is not so good, to be honest. So hydrate properly with electrolytes. Get some coffee in. It helps you, right? Stops those receptors from binding and making you feel too tired. It gives you some boost. Work in the day, because there's barakah in there of the Prophet ﷺ. And then exposure again one more time when the sun is slowly going down towards the sunset. And then, of course, melatonin is going to kick in when the night comes in. Slowly over the days, if you keep that consistency, you're going to reset the circadian rhythm. That's what is important. Another point to maintain and understand, some people use melatonin. I use melatonin sometimes when I want to reset my circadian rhythm. I want to stabilize it. It's good if you want to stabilize it. It helps you to get sleepy. So what you do is, it's a hack. So let's say I want to start sleeping every night at 10:30 a.m. So p.m. Sorry, I'll take the melatonin around 10 or 9:45, 9:30. Within 1 hour, I'll be very, very tired. Melatonin levels are high in me, and I feel I'm gonna fall asleep 100%. I advise that to happen only for some time, so that you do not develop addiction or tolerance. All right, do it for a few days, then stop it. Don't do it anymore. I usually it sometime when I switch time zones, when I travel and so on. That's pretty much it. Don't make it a habit, but it can help you. Okay, it can help you. It's about, again, resetting that. Already Allah has built that in us. It's there. It's been there. Okay, it's been there from the way He created us. Literally, I've seen scientists who don't really believe in anything saying that it's been designed. It's been created that way. It's been designed this way, because you can't say anything else. It indeed has been designed that way. It indeed has been created that way. Perfect creation. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Tabarakallahu ahsanul khaliqeen. Praise be to Allah, who is the best of creators. The best of creators. All right, now let's bring in a very important issue. Okay, so it's not so some crazy secret. But let's bring in a big issue that is different from the time before. What's called light pollution. See, in the time of the Sahaba, they didn't have these street lights, lights from the cars, lights from the buildings, lights from everywhere. So naturally, when the night would hit, those dopamine levels would be high, and the melatonin, and the sleep would kick in. Easy, nothing. Khalas, it's dark. You feel sleepy. No mobile phones, no blue lights being emitted, and that is very, very important. No blue lights being emitted. They didn't have the screens. How do we hold it like this or like this? That is one of the main destructions and disruptors of sleep. The TV as well, laptop screens, all those can work against us. Back in the days, they didn't have that. That's why they slept better. I believe that's why there was not as much depression and so much mental health issues, because I believe there's a high correlation. It is shown very clear in many studies, peer-reviewed studies, that show there's a clear correlation between quality of sleep and mental health, and disruption of sleep and the circadian rhythm, and depression, sadness, anxiety, and so on. We're living in a place where we're just taking pills, popping pills, antidepressants, and of course they have a lot of side problems. They have a lot of side effects. Back in the days, 50, 60, 70 years ago, when we didn't have these screens, people were sleeping much better. The lights started coming in. Go back 150 years, 200 years, where lights were not even, right, let's say the light bulb was not invented yet. Even better. People were not so depressed. They didn't have so many problems because they had better quality sleep. They would work throughout the day because that's the only time you have light and you can actually work, as Allah says in the Quran. And they would rest during the night, so they would replenish and they would re-energize and they would live better. They would have better mental health. Today, we are disturbed. Mental health is one of the greatest problems in the world, and I believe it is linked to these things. These devices, especially the mobile phones, everyone in their bed, they're sitting on it, and before sleeping, they're looking at videos. That is actually signaling your brain to lower the melatonin levels, which means you're not going to feel sleepy anymore. That desire to sleep is not going to be there, and have a hard time to fall asleep, which means you're going to wake up maybe later, maybe not very rested, which is going to affect your mental health. It's going to affect your performance throughout the day. It's going to affect your irritability, the way you behave, just your disposition throughout the day. It can cause conflict. It can be connected and linked to very violent driving and even criminality and problems and many conflicts during the day at work and so on. The way people walk on the street, fights, people just snapping for no reason. I believe there's so many correlations when it comes to people not sleeping well and having poor mental health due to sleep. Okay, so we have to look at the modern lifestyle and how it's how it's done, what's it done to us, and we have to make sure that we take care of that before it's too late. Studies clearly show that this blue light emitted by the phones, whether it's the screens and all that, it just suppresses melatonin. This is the hormone that regularly sleeps. There was a 2014 study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science revealed that exposure to screen light before bedtime delays sleep onset, reduces sleep quality, and shifts the circadian rhythm. Particularly using the e-readers, reported feeling less rested compared to those who avoided screen at night. So you want to also feel rested, right? The quality of sleep, remember? So I'm just giving you the studies now that back up what I've said. Additionally, a 2016 study in the sleep health found that teenagers who use mobile phones for extended periods at night experienced shorter sleep durations and reported higher levels of fatigue and poor academic performance. Now, what do you think is going to happen? Well, obviously it's going to cause problems with your mental health. Why does it matter spiritually and practically? Well, Islam encourages us to sleep early, as reflected what the Prophet ﷺ said. He, ﷺ, which is reported in Muslim Ahmed, it's Sahih, he said, there's no habit that's more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than sleeping after Isha and waking up early for Fajr. The habit of staying on screens until late disrupts the sleep cycle, directly impacting our physical, mental, and spiritual health. Like, you're not going to be able to wake up for Fajr, right? Poor sleep affects our ability to focus on prayers, not even having khushu, engage in productive activities. You're not going to be able to maintain emotional stability. You're not going to be able to, okay? So these are very important things to consider. Now, what are some actionable steps? Let's end with that, and then we'll take the questions. Number one, set boundaries on mobile phone. Avoid screens at least 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. You have to. Replace this time with just spending time with your family or reading Quran, reading a book. This doesn't have the same effect. Okay, leverage the night modes. If necessary, use the night shift mode or blue light filters or something. Like if you really have to get on, you got some work. I don't know. Some people say, but I work at this time, that time. I understand. I work late sometimes. Try to avoid it. Establish a sunnah-inspired routine. Follow the sunnah of going to bed early and waking up after Fajr, waking up for tahajjud. This aligns with your natural sleep cycle. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the salah, has given us Islam, the wajib, and it's all aligned with our natural disposition, with the fitrah. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continuously calls us to reflect on the creation. In many ayats, Surah Al-Mulk, Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah Al-Imran, and so on. And He is, of course, the one who created us. So come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is, Islam is not just about prayer. It's just about, okay, which, our book is better than their book. No, our book is the truth. Islam is not another religion. Islam is the truth. These people deviated from the truth. There's not like, oh, these are Christians, these are Jews. We're all one human race. It's just that some people follow the truth and some people don't. Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Torah. He revealed the Bible, the Injil, the original ones. He revealed all the scriptures. These people have just stopped following it and invented things. We are the last ummah, last nation that's holding on. But still, we're having, of course, a lot of problems. We also deviated. But no one can corrupt the Quran. Stick to the Quran. Stick to the Sunnah. Stick to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you. Okay? And this will be in line with fitrah. You will live a better life. Better, inshallah, mental health. We're suffering. We're in a very, very critical time in history. And we need to fix this. Okay? You can see it's all aligned, wallahi, with what science discovers. They're going to keep discovering over and over again, as Allah says in the Quran, that حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقِّ, till it's clear for them that this Islam is the truth. أَنَّهُ الْحَقِّ, that it is indeed the truth. حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ, till it is made clear, actually. It is evidenced that this is the truth. Allah says, we will show them the signs. We will show them the evidences. In conclusion, brothers and sisters, great harmony between our psychological, physiological needs and the natural world. It's a testament to Allah's wisdom and to His existence, and that Islam is the truth. By following the guidance found in the Quran and Sunnah, we can lead healthier, more balanced lives, 100%. So I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we find benefit in this, and that we find benefit in everything that the Prophet ﷺ has given by following it, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala.